Okay, I think we can begin now. It's 2:04 p.m. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming today. So and Happy New Year. And I've seen some familiar faces from the previous in 2022. Some of y'all have attended the talks and still continuing to support us. So thank you for coming for today's talk. Okay, so today's talk we'll be talking about becoming smarter in making healthy habits. Okay, so next. So to help us in the session later, we'll need you to mute your microphone and when you're not speaking, and also only unmute when you are responding to the questions. Okay, so I'll just do a short run through for those of you who are not familiar with Zoom. So how to unmute yourself, you use the microphone button at the bottom. And then beside the microphone button, you can also see the video icon. So this for you to switch on your camera. So we encourage all participants to switch on your camera during the session so we can see your face. And also there's another hand button. So that's for raising your hands. So later on, when we have some questions that require your participation, you can also use this button. So, and also if you have any questions along the way, there will be a Q&A session at the end. So you can also type your questions into the chat box and we'll answer them at the end of the session. Okay, so a short introduction of myself. So I'm Josephine and I have been with NTUC Health for the past 2.5 years. So I mainly focus on community outreach and also identifying the needs of seniors and also providing any necessary service linkages to support our seniors in the community. So just a disclaimer that today's presentation is only for informational purposes and will not be considered as medical advice. So it is important for you yourself to also seek advice from your doctor because everybody's body is different and we have like different needs and concerns. Okay, so next, this is our outline for today's talk. Okay, so firstly, we'll understand what is aging, what is considered normal aging, and then we'll move on to talk about some common mental illnesses in the elderly population. Then after that, have a 5 minutes break. And then after the break, we will talk about active aging and also introduce the smarter goals. And this will involve you also making some goals for yourself. So I'm very excited for the activity part. And later during the activity, I also really hope that you can participate and also share freely since I see most of you are like very familiar with us already. Yeah. And okay, lastly, we will end with the Q&A session. Okay, so now we begin. Okay, so we all understand active aging and look at how the aging population actually impacts today's society. So some of you might be familiar with some of the topics that we have shared, but maybe you can take today's talk as a reminder or refresher of yourself. Okay, so as you can see from the picture, actually on the left side, actually the Singapore population is getting older. So in 2015, Singapore's aging population makes up only 1 out of 8 of the total population. But you can see the graph. So by 2030, this ratio is going to double to 1 out of 4. So this means that in every 4 Singaporeans, 1 of them is age 65 years old and above. And by 2030, there's actually an estimated amount of 900,000 citizens that are going to be 65 years old and above. And to the right, you can see that as the years go by, Singaporeans are actually having fewer babies. And with the aging population, what is going to happen? So it means that there'll be fewer and fewer Singaporeans of working age to support our elderly population. And that's a worry. Next. So an aging population actually comes with some potential issues that might arise. Okay, so the Department of Statistics actually reviewed an estimated of 83,000 elderly persons will be living alone by 2030 as compared to 47,000. So that's actually almost more than 2 times. Okay, so what is worrying about this figure is that it can potentially lead to social isolation and loneliness. And actually, research has shown that it can further lead to a variety of physical and mental health conditions such as high blood pressure, heart disease, anxiety, depression, Alzheimer's disease, and even death. Okay, so but the good news is that Singaporeans are enjoying longer and healthier lives. So yeah, if you look, actually the life expectancy has increased with females having a longer life expectancy than males. And if we all plan ahead to take care of ourselves by engaging in a healthier lifestyle, aging can be a positive experience for all of us. Okay, so when it comes to growing old, next, yeah. So move on to normal aging. I'm sure we are all very familiar with some of the common occurrences that will happen. Okay, so now I just need some participation, okay? So can anyone tell me what are some common things that you start to notice as you start to age? You can unmute your mics and also share. No teeth from Cheryl and Daisy. Yeah, aches and pains from David. Also hair thinning. Yes, I think all of you are right. And thank you for sharing, David and Cheryl and Daisy. Yeah, I think all of you are right to say that we'll be experiencing some of the physical changes in our body. And so the most obvious one that you rightly pointed out is the hair thinning, and also you start to see your hair turning gray. And also some of you may realize that skin will be getting thinner, and this is actually due to the decrease in the collagen and also your fat tissues. And also beyond the verbal ones, some of you might also experience aches and pains like what David has shared in the chat. So in your joints, some of you may also find that you're not as strong as before. And sometimes you might also find that your memory is not as good as before also. And some may also experience changes in your sleep routine. So just to assure you that it is all a normal process of aging. Okay, and next, some of you may also realize that you are taking smaller meals because of changes in your digestion tract, and some but not all meals. So go on to experience incontinence, glaucoma, cataract, or high or low blood pressure. And so that's why it's important for all of us to go for frequent health checkups to ensure that any changes inside the body, they are discovered early, and because sometimes these can be detected earlier point to actually and you can actually prevent it from getting to a more serious stage. Okay, so next, with the changes in our physical body, it is common that these changes will also affect you psychologically. So there might be some effect on our confidence and self-esteem. So depending on individuals, some may have accumulated a lot of knowledge and experience to share, and this would give them like higher confidence and self-esteem. However, some may feel that they are not as efficient as before, like in the past, you can complete, like, for example, this housework within like 2 hours, but now you feel you take a longer time because of like body aches and pains, and some of you may feel that they're just less efficient. Okay, so the next one is also ageism. This is essentially stereotyping, and may come from family members, close friends, or even from yourself as well. So for example, maybe you may hear that some of your friends may complain to you that they feel that technology is too hard, or they think that it's too difficult, but and all of you have overcome that thought, and you're here today to attend this virtual talk. So good job, everyone. Okay, so some of you may also experience changes in role from being a contributor to a recipient, and some may need some time to adapt to these changes. And so socially, as we grow older, naturally we also start to lose our significant ones, like close friends, and this will of course be accompanied with a time of grief, and we need time to adapt to these changes as well. And sometimes this may also lead to loneliness. And of course, with retirement, it is also common to sometimes feel anxious about having nothing to do, or being uncertain about the future, or some may also have some financial concerns. And with all these things weighing on your shoulders, it is quite possible. It's possible for psychological problems like depression and social anxiety and dementia to occur. And so the important part is to be mindful of all these changes that are going on. And later on, we'll talk about how we can actually change our mindset on this. Okay, so next, we move on to talk about aging and mental health. Okay, so like with the psychological changes that I mentioned earlier on, so mental health issues like dementia and depression amongst the seniors are likely to rise, and this affects more women than men as they tend to live longer. So therefore, it is very important to take charge and modify our lifestyle to prevent or possibly delay these issues. Okay, for the next slide, we are just going to talk a little bit about dementia today. So research has actually shown that by 2030, it is expected that 103,000 people will be diagnosed with dementia in the APAC, Asian Pacific region. And this number will increase more than twofold in 2050. And that's actually a worrying trend. And so to bust some of the myths, dementia is actually not a normal part of aging. Okay, so we always hear the term dementia. So what is dementia? Okay, so it's actually an umbrella term that describes a wide range of symptoms, including a progressive deterioration in your cognitive functioning, for example, like your memory, your thinking, your behavior, and also the ability to perform your day-to-day activities. And there are different types of dementia that are associated with the different the damages in different parts of the brain and brain cells. So it has shown that people aged 65 years old and above have a higher tendency to develop dementia. But however, young people may suffer from dementia as well. Okay, so I'll briefly talk about some of the risk factors of dementia. Includes age and genetics, and underlying medical conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, obesity, depression. All these can also increase the risk of developing dementia. And research has also shown that lack of social interaction, smoking, alcohol consumption, and physical inactivity can also increase the risk of dementia. And hence, knowing the risk factors, right, today, we can be able to help us make better decisions in our lives. And so this is just briefly a short introduction to dementia. So for those of you who are interested to understand more, we also have an upcoming talk focusing on dementia in the next few months. So look out for it. Okay, so now we'll go on for a short 5 minutes break. Okay, because I know the content's a little heavy, and later on also will be quite heavy. So maybe you can go for just a short stretch, or just drink a cup of water or go to the toilet, and I will see you all back at around 2:25, 2:24. Okay. Okay, it's 2 o'clock, 2:23 now. So welcome back, everyone. And this group is actually very punctual, really back after 5 minutes. So thank you for keeping to the time. Okay, so today for the remaining talk, we'll actually be talking about an important part, which is the active aging, and also we'll introduce to you the smarter goals, where there'll be a small activity for us to do later on. Okay, so after talking so much about the aging population and the impending issues, now comes the important part of what we can do now in the present, to keep ourselves physically and mentally healthy, and so to age actively. So what is active aging? You hear that the government actually had HPB introducing the healthier SG, always encouraging you to age actively. So what does it mean? So according to the World Health Organization, it's actually defined as the process of optimizing opportunities for health, participation, and security in order to enhance the quality of life as people age. So ultimately, is to actually encourage you to take part in to do activities in order to increase our quality of life. So healthy aging actually requires us to put in some effort and time. Actually, these are all an investment, and they are not a cost at all. So for example, if we put in the effort to be socially active, and the benefit is that we actually connected with more people, and this actually often lifts up our mood and helps with our mental well-being, and therefore health. So it is never too late to start. Okay, so next, however, some of us actually may find starting very hard. Like we have a goal in mind, but and we always say that okay, by tomorrow I will start maybe exercising, I'll start eating healthily. But then in the end, when tomorrow comes, it's always the next day. Tomorrow I will do it. And oftentimes this kind of initially our initial motivation will get lost on the way. So, and the inertia is actually very high. So what I want to introduce to you today is actually the common barriers, some of the common barriers that might actually deter you from actually starting or making your healthier habits. So it is very important for all of us to be able to identify some of our personal barriers that might be stopping us from carrying out our plan. Okay, so some of the common barriers include ageism, which was what I talked about earlier on. So some of you or maybe expectations from others or your friends or family members or even yourself, or you may feel that maybe you are too old to participate in some physical activities, for example. Okay. And the next barrier is actually social isolation, which we also briefly talked about just now. So being socially isolated from everyone in the community can actually be a terrible feeling, because humans are social beings, and being socially isolated, it may stop us from wanting to even participate in activities or even leave the house. Okay, and next, some of us may also feel the lack of motivation to maybe carry out your plan. So oftentimes, we have to understand that actually there's always an underlying reason in this lack of motivation that's actually stopping us from doing it. So, for example, maybe our goal that we set for ourselves is unrealistic. Like your goal is to exercise every day, but then some of us most of us actually find it hard to do so, and if you find it hard to do so, of course, then the motivation, you have a lack of motivation to continue doing it and following through with your plans. Okay, so another barrier is also maybe associated to the pain and aches that you feel when you do certain types of exercises. And also, as well as some of you may actually worry for the potential injury might happen. And also lastly, we may have the perception that exercise is for the fit and young, and this is related to the ageism that I shared just now. So I think what we want to say is that it's important for us to know what are our individual barriers. Everyone is different and have different experience as well. So by knowing our individual barriers, then we would know how to adjust our goals that we will set for ourselves. And okay, so this is actually our favorite example to show all of you that old age is not a disease and it's just a number. Okay, so Mr. Tan Kok Sing, he actually turned 95 years old in 2020. And so he was the winner of the 2018 Silent Heroes Award and Pioneer of Promise category. So from his 60s to 90s, actually, Mr. Tan he actually engaged in a lot of activities, and as you can read from the slide, he actually skydived and he ran 2 marathons, conducted white water rafting activities, as well as abseiled down a building. And actually all this was done he actually when during the period where in 2009 he actually overcame a stroke, and but then he managed to regain his mobility within 3 months. And after that, in 2017 he also overcame a fractured kneecap. So it really shows us that it is never too old or too late to start doing the things that you want to do. And okay, so now we'll introduce the 3 M's to make healthy adjustments in our lives, so that to ensure that we can take small steps to age successfully. So I know some of you may be very familiar with this, and but sometimes it is very hard to put into practice even after listening to it for a couple of times. So the important thing is actually just to take small steps and start doing things little by little. Okay, so the first M is to move. So the tip is to engage in with activities and also try to engage the brain. So that's A and B. And if you find that it's hard to move or it is dangerous to go out during this, now with some of the COVID cases rising, some of you may have concerns, and you can also choose to do simple home exercises like stretching exercises as shown on the TV. And the second M, and that's to mingle. So to encourage you to continue to stay connected with your friends, your family, and relatives. And so also those with phones, mobile phones, who are very familiar with technology, you can continue to call or message even during times when you don't feel comfortable going out or you feel too tired. And the third M is to manage our diet. So this is to minimize and to prevent diseases. And okay, so and for in terms of diet, so even though some of the food items, yeah, like fried food, sugary stuff, some of us it's like our soft spot, right? And so we want to encourage you to cut down on this and to always opt for healthier options like less salt, less sugar, and more fruits and vegetables as well. So remember that always start with small and simple steps first, and all these changes will actually make a difference even though you think that it's so small. Okay, so what to stop doing for healthy aging. So previous slide was what to do, what to continue doing. So this to stop doing is to abstain from alcohol and smoking. And also we also want to stop actually living a sedentary lifestyle, and that includes like sitting still for long periods of time. And also we want to cut down on our sugar, our sodium, and our oil intake, and change our negative beliefs or perceptions about aging. Okay, so now this is a activity part where it requires your participation. Yeah, so I want to introduce to you not smart but smarter goals. Okay, so this is proven to be effective in a goal setting based on studies. Okay, so I'll roughly brief you through this. Okay, so S stands for specific goal or action. Okay, M stands for measurable. So something you can measure, like the time or your distance, or there's a quantity for you to measure. And also stands for meaningful and motivating. Okay, so A stands for achievable. R stands for realistic. So something that we feel confident that we can reach. So when we measure confidence on a scale of 0 to 10, so 0 being not sure at all, to 10 being totally confident. So how we gauge whether it is realistic or not is whether we have a confidence level of 7 and above. Okay, so T actually stands for time bound. So it's something like a time period that you give yourself. It can be 3 months or it can be 6 months, depending on your goal. And E stands for evaluate. So for example, let's say your time period for yourself is 3 months. So at the end of 3 months, we want to review the outcome, whether it has been successful, it has been meaningful or effective in reaching our goal or not. And of course, R stands for readjustment. So based on the outcome, we want to see how we can adjust our methods or techniques, the way that we did it. Like maybe I can consider another alternative and this will help us to better achieve our goals. Okay, so next I'll just show you an example of a smarter goal. So this is just an example, and this is what you'll be doing later on. Okay, so for example, let's say the goal is to keep physically active. Okay, so S would be so my goal would be starting from Tuesday. I'll be going to start walking 10,000 steps. And for M, which is measurable, how am I going to measure these 10,000 steps? So I will use the HPB tracker, and I plan to do it 4 days a week. Okay, so achievable is that for example, walking to the supermarket and back usually would already allow me to hit 4,000 steps already. And so 10,000 steps, like for example, throughout the day, like let's say if you go down to meet your friends, go down to the nearby shopping center, or even walking around your house, actually 10,000 steps seems quite achievable. Okay, so for relevant, okay, because I want to become a fit, healthy, and a mentally strong person. And that's why I want to be physically active. And for T is actually the time bound. So 6 months from now, to my next appointment at the polyclinic, I want to set the goal by then. So within these 6 months, I want to see progress and actually make progress. And for the evaluation and readjustment, I would wait until, for example, at the end of 6 months, and then I will during my appointment at the polyclinic where I take my weight, and actually if the doctor says that, oh, you see an improvement in your weight, and then that's an effective means that whatever you have planned is actually you are doing it right lah. And of course to readjust, like for example, if it shows no progress, there's always ways to improve your current goals so that we can actually make the goals more achievable. Okay, so the next few slides, actually, I'll just be briefly running you through it. So we'll be showing you some examples and suggestions of the goals that you can set. And and later on, after this, then we'll be doing the small activity. Okay, so these are some of the goals that you can set for your physical health, and these are suggestions only, and to be and always the disclaimer is that so want you to consult your doctor or therapist. For example, if these goals that you set for yourself are actually in line with what the doctor has been telling you, and yeah, just try not to make very drastic changes, for example, that might hurt or cause any harm to your current symptoms or situation. Okay, so and for physical health, we can look at also proper attention to medical problems. For example, we want to, our goal can be to control our blood pressure or our glucose levels. So our goal would be to monitor our blood pressure. For example, you can daily, so it can be a morning and night, and also medication compliance, diet control, active routine. All these can help help you to achieve the goals. And for some of you, you may also consider maybe practicing good dental hygiene every day. And for your mental and physical well-being, you can look at regular health screening, or sometimes when you're stressed or have low mood or have anxiety, you can consider seeking help early. And okay, so next slide. For those of you who are very interested in actually making change to your fitness, your lifestyle, you can actually these are some suggestions that you can try to make small changes. For example, like a low impact exercise, for example, Tai Chi or Qigong. And some of you may actually prefer walking, so you can aim to walk 30 minutes 3 times a week. Okay, so strength exercise, maybe sometimes the doctor may tell you that you need to build your upper body strength, so you can work on concentrating on your upper body movements. But in terms of the exercise, be sure to always check in with your doctor or your therapist to see if the exercise is actually suitable for you. And okay, next. So for those of you who want to set some goals for social and mental health, so for example, for in a family, sorry, I missed out on the diet and nutrition. Okay, so on the diet and nutrition is actually the half quarter formula. So anyone heard of My Healthy Plate? Last year we actually gave a talk on that. Anyone would like to share? Okay. Okay, later on, I'll just give a brief description, but later on, I'll be excited to hear more of your sharing and during the activities later. So for diet and nutrition, actually during My Healthy Plate from Health Promotion Board actually states that 50% fill half of your plate with vegetables and or fruits. The next 25% of your plate with brown rice and a wholemeal bread, and the last quarter would be on your meat and others. So that's actually your protein. So that's usually like poultry, fish, or for non-meat options like tofu or beans or legumes. Okay, so and also maybe some of you might also want to increase your water intake to keep hydrated. Okay. So next, these are some of the goals that you can look at for social and mental health. Okay, so for family and community, for example, maybe we want to schedule a video chat, for example, every week, every Saturday with your grandchildren, for those of you who have, or even with your friends. Maybe for some of us, it's like we don't even have to set the goal. We just talk to them every day, right? Yeah, especially since it's so easy with our phones. And so for those of you who actually don't really have time to go down to the meet your grandchildren, especially if they stay very far, maybe you can consider doing that. And next one on the personal purpose. Okay, so needs to find your your purpose in life. Maybe you can look to sign up as a volunteer for the local community in the elder care center, or actually even learn to pick up a new skill. So there are actually many programs going on at the senior activity centers that are near your places, or the community centers as well. Okay, and so lastly, for those of you who want to set some goals for your mental health, so and to lead a happy life, says that you can give thanks each day. So, for example, some of you may consider having a gratitude journal. So, this journal is where you pen down, you write down one thing that you're grateful for every day. Okay, for those of you who want to have a more engaged life, so maybe you can look at doing what you are good at. You're practicing your signature strengths, and also for a more meaningful life, maybe you can look at contributing to the community, or actually and also look to attending this series of mental wellness talk. For example, like every Monday 2 to 3 p.m. I see so many familiar faces. You guys have been supporting us all the way. Okay, and so these are just some examples for you. So now we have a bit of time. So now it is time for yourself to create your own smarter goals. Okay. Okay, so now I'll move back up to the acronym, the SMARTER. So you get to see what is it again. And then okay, and everyone you can go and take a piece of paper and a pen, and then maybe you can for those of you who have your phone, maybe you can write it down in your notepad. Okay, I'll be giving you around like 4 minutes to 5 minutes to maybe think about what are some things that you're a goal that you like to work on, and also maybe pen down in this format. In this example, for example, in this example below. Yeah. So instead of a physical activity, for example, maybe you want to work on having a healthier diet, and then you can list out like the SMART. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to actually unmute, and also feel free to chat in the chat box. Okay. Maybe I'll give you I'll give you all about 1 to 2 more minutes to wrap up. Okay, now. Okay. Yes, it has been 4 to 5 minutes already. Okay. Would anyone like to share their Sparta goal with us? Okay. You can unmute yourself and also open your video. Maybe I'll call on those that are very familiar with us before. Christina, Madam Christina, are you there?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Would you like to share some of the goals that you have with?
I find that I shared a few times maybe too much already but I really thank God for almost more than 2 years because of the pandemic. I started to go exercise and almost like become a habit and I really encouraging like more people will go for exercise. I feel that exercise not only we gain the physical benefit and also mix with people, and I really find happy when I go out. Like this morning, as a lady, I met her not so often, but she's so friendly. She even wanted to take photo for me, but I feel embarrassed. Then we like making joke, and I never the first time I met Amon, the Amon, and just talk to him, but he's very friendly. I find that even we might just say few words, even just hi and bye. I find that actually like I saw like can stimulate our mental like that. So not I hope that I can carry on this habit, and yeah. I hope you don't mind if I repeat the same thing. I'm really happy that because I'm a Christian, I read Bible, and I really like to read Bible. And almost when I have time, I read. Then, but before the pandemic, I ever went to a church to learn guitar. And at first, I didn't really play at home, but because of the pandemic, I started to play. Not every day, but very a few times a week. I find when I sing, I enjoy it. Then yes, maybe what I want to do is that as you say, journaling, like diary. Maybe I should write down. I am like lazy, I didn't carry on. Somehow I started a few days, then I stopped it. Maybe this is good. I find that like doing all these activities, I really feel the benefit. I enjoy. I feel that my health really improved, and also I feel that I'm more happier, and time easy to pass. No need to worry next day or afternoon what I want to do. And actually I enjoy this talk Monday. You thank us. I think I want to thank you all. Thank everyone. Give us like good teaching for how to keep our health. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Madam Christina, for sharing so much and so deeply as well. And as much as you thank us, I think we want to commend, I think, all of y'all for attending the talk today. And it's not easy actually listening to 1 hour of theory and yeah, sometimes, yeah, and it's also very good that you actually see the benefits in these talks and how it helps to you to improve your current health situation also. And okay, maybe we have time for just one more. Anyone would like to share a smarter goal, or even if you don't have any goals, or maybe share some one improvement that you have made in your lifestyle. But anyone would like to share?
Okay, I may share.
Okay.
To introduce or recommend Ramio game, or we call Rumicube. The number, because this one can really activate your brain cells. Because I don't know, I like figures. I'm not. Okay. I don't remember names well, but I can remember numbers very well. So playing Ramio with 3, because 4 players more interesting now. Then you interact at the same time, you share. I think this is a very healthy game.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
I do at least once a week when I go, because I also attend this or go for gym tonic at this Sengkang or Fernvale SSC in Sengkang.
I see.
So because they have started also ukulele practice.
Wow.
So yeah, this lesson I started, and then after that we will go gather at friend's place to play Rumicube or Ramio, we call that. I find it very interesting. Yes. So it's Wednesday our practice. So Wednesday, but now I'm not sure whether during New Year some may want to rush or something else. But usually it's the norm that after because the center also encourage also encourage this game, so they always have a session. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Madam Florence. So I think likewise like Christina, Madam Christina, Madam Florence just now, for example, maybe they started off with wanting to, you know, be more be healthier physically and also socially, want to engage in more social activities, and then what they started out, in the end it becomes a part of their lifestyle, like a habit, and they do it every week, every day. And this is what we want to encourage all of you. So no matter how small you think your actions are, actually one action will lead to another, and before you know it, and this will be part of your lifestyle already. Okay, so now we just have an important message for you, and you know, sometimes there's this quote by George Burns. So it says that you can't help getting older, but you don't have to get old. And you know, active aging is really for everyone, including those who are frail, or those who have disabilities or in need of care. So it is never too late to set goals, to start your journey right, and to a healthier and happier life. Okay. Yes. So I think we just have a 2 minutes. Any okay. So any a quick burning question that you want to ask? So actually yeah, and while in during the Q&A, we also like to take a photo. Okay, can I
If you don't
ask
mind,
all of yes?
may I ask a question? Just now you show us the elderly 95 years man.
Yeah.
May I know? I watched TV before. I saw it. May I know? Don't mind, visible. May I know? Is he still alive?
Okay, so the latest that we read on the news of him is actually in 2020, and I think we don't know where he is, or I think it's his personal life. So though we don't know. Yeah.
Hello.
If you
你好，这不好，他们有一点，
Hello.
Hello， 听得到吗？
Yes. 听得到。Okay,
你可以讲华语吗？
Okay, 可以讲华语。I will try to translate for the rest.
Okay, I talk Chinese, speak Chinese.
Okay, 好。
晚上睡觉我们的关节炎呢，有时候痛啦，但是他们也是整天喝烧水啊，都没有喝冷水的啦。但是也会喝关节炎，也是会抽筋。我不知道为什么有这种事情。还有时候也会中风也是不懂怎么样中风的原因也不知道为什么会这样。吃东西也是一样的吃法，吃那些有营养的东西也会中风的吗？
Okay, 谢谢你的问题呀。Okay, so what the man from Depot Heights actually asked is that I think so sometimes even if you eat healthier things, or you're very physically active, and then sometimes we may still get a stroke. These things seem to not be like to still come lah. Okay, so I think yeah. So actually there are many reasons as to why okay, I'll speak in Chinese first, then I will translate to English. Okay, so 就是通常这些中风的之类的情况，就是有很多不一样的一些好像因素。对，就是有些是因为是我们的 DNA 里面我们的 genes 基因就是父母亲还是在家庭里有就是比较高的风险，对，会得到啦。然后就是通常就是生活有压力啦，这些也是会导致成中风的这些原因。对，不只是一样因素啦。
不是一样的多啦，有时候
对，
还有都是睡眠不足这也会中。
Yes， 对。So最重要的是我们可以就是做我们尽量做这些刚才来避免得了这些中风的好。
我关节炎没有吃什么就没有吃冷的东西水果这种也会有时候关节也会痛的。爱吃辣的，那我得吃，那这个吃辣的。
饮食习惯有可能会导致也是，所以我们都就是建议少盐少油吧。 这些是饮食习惯。然后当然是预防胜于治疗啦，所以你们都要去验血一下咯，每3个月或者1年1次都会有，就是提早发现，因为很多时候中风也是由高胆固醇啦、高血压这些组成的嘛，它的血管阻塞啦，然后就看塞哪里啦。我们说，哎呀，塞心脏的话就拜拜有时，然后有时候塞头脑就导致中风，对吗？所以这些血管阻塞呢是主要的因素啦。所以如果你有吃那个胆固醇，刚才你有说到，有时候晚上睡觉也会脚抽筋的一些，那胆固醇的药有时候会有影响到，就是比较让那个服食胆固醇药的人有时候会有一些副作用啊，就比较容易抽筋这样子。因为我本身也是有在吃啦胆固醇的药，所以我做那个热身啊，我要做运动之前热身要做比较久的时间啦，不然的话你就觉得很容易抽筋呀，这个是本身的经历啊。然后对于中风呢，就是尽早就是接受去诊断，然后如果医生跟你说有胆固醇高，叫你们吃药就要听医生的话，不然的话诊断了，然后又不听医生的话，很多人就觉得有副作用啊这些。不过衡量一下的话，当然是吃药小副作用好过直接中风，对吗？
要
就是这样。
平均啦，吃东西跟 exercise 那种也要平均啦。
然后睡眠要充足啦，对，不要去想这么多啦。现在大过年，开开心心呀。通货膨胀有时候会压力大啦，不过政府有给钱嘛，所以凡事就往好的方面想哦，做人乐观一点。我看我的 Madam 丹一直在那边笑的，笑口常开。笑有哈哈功嘛，有一些会有一些哈哈功呀。
OK， 谢谢啊，谢谢你的分享啊。
为大家学了好东西就开心呀。那个拍照大家要开你们的视像吗？那我可以拍一个照。And then for next week, we won't be having any of the talk. Yours is a Chinese New Year, so everyone, just go and 拜年right? So the following talk will be on the 30th 啦。会是华语的讲座。对，一样的topic， 一样的那个课题呀，就是用华语啦。然后就欢迎大家啦，上网啊，AAC 的朋友们，我们也是希望你们可以直接上网呀，就不用去 AAC， 就学习电脑电话、手机这一类呀。
现在看到了没有？看到了。
祝新年快乐，新年快乐！
大家比一个手势哈，1、2、3 ，OK， 可以了。
If you have time also,
身体健康最重要。
呀，身体健康，长途上班。
Yes. If for those of you have some time，
身体健康平安。
平安平安。
好，谢谢你。
月线Ready Mas 需要放那个 QR code 的是吗？
平安就有喜乐。
Yeah， OK， 可以扫那个 QR 码。
So do the evaluation for those of you who are free.
Evaluation.
Okay, you can
link the chat box.
Send the QR code also.
Evaluation is another portal, is it?
Yes, it's actually in the chat link, and it's a form. So you click on the link, and then you will.
Click on the link.
Yeah.
I can do straight away,
Yes, can. Thank you.
Today's date.